Welcome to The Forge. My name is Derek. This podcast is for the ones who were just like me. For those who felt lost, stuck, or pissed off at where they were in life. You want change? Well, so did we. Here we bring real people with real stories, people who have been through the fire and come out stronger because of it. As Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron. So let's get to work. My guest today is Monica Zambrano. She's built a successful career in the life insurance industry, but her journey started far from where she is now. She made a bold decision to change her life, and today we're going to uncover how she did it. So, Monica, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Derek. Pleasure to be here today.
So, what do you think about all this?
I love it. This is it's a nice studio. And I'm happy to see where you're at. So thank you for inviting me.
So, I'm happy to have Monica on here because I consider her one of my first mentors. I've had mentors in the past, but like she's a mentor that has been outside of my family and friend group that like almost like a cold prospect. You're like in my cold market.
Yeah.
So you're one of those mentors that I just came across and I was like, oh, okay. And then like you have guided me to kind of like become to where I am today, So I thank you for that. So she has been a mentor for me.
Thank you, Derek.
So we have something in the industry where it's called the 2-minute story. So can you explain what that 2-minute story is?
Absolutely. The 2 minute story pretty much talks about who you are as a person, where you come from, and just to relate a little bit about myself, I didn't come from this background. I never did financial services in my life before. As a matter of fact, I never knew anything about financial services. As many of other people that's out there, listening to us, it's a subject that in the Latino community, we don't really talk much about it, right? So when I came into the industry, and at the beginning, I didn't even know what was I going to be, getting myself into. I come from a single mother. Was raised by she raised 4 kids on her own, and I always see her like struggle, working hard to give us a better life. But there's so much that she could only do, and I have a brother who's my brother is the person that it was always the one setting the example for the family because he likes going to school, he likes college, something that school was never for me. So, and he was example. My mom will always compare, my sister and myself to him. Like, you guys should be like him. You guys should go to school, get a degree. But in reality, I knew I could do more than just sitting in front of a desk, listening to a teacher. Many times, they didn't even know what they were saying. So I was like, this is not what I want to be. This is not what I want to do. And I told my mom, I'm not going to go to college. I want to find something better. I always knew that I want to do something better and bigger. But I never knew what. And the industry that I'm in now, I always said I was put in by God. God put me in this company because he's the one leading my way, and I always leave everything to him. He's the one who shows me, who opens doors, who closes doors for me. So when I started in the industry, I was lost. I knew I could do this. I never been a person that doubts about myself. I know, like, I'm very persistent. And when the opportunity came, it was hard. Business, it's a business at the end of the day. Any business is not easy. But I was like, I'm going to make it happen. I know I can do it. And here I am, hearing you saying that I was one of your first mentors and leaders. It gives me so much, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, because I don't see myself like that. But I've helped so many people, and I do it like not expecting anything in return, So that's me. That's who I am. I want to continue helping people in this industry. I'm in love with the industry. I'm in love with the crusade. So that's a little bit about me.
So can you tell me a little bit? So where you are right now, it's amazing, right? Tell me a little bit before you got into the industry. What was your life like before?
Absolutely, yes. I when I came to this country at the age of 13 years old, not knowing any English, and it was hard because I didn't have the documents.
Mm-hmm.
So when that's your situation, you don't have any choices, right? It's whatever you can accommodate yourself to. So at that point, it was me going to college, going to high school, and then I was also working a part time job,
Mm-hmm.
helping my mom because she was a server. So I was helping her in the restaurant here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, I became a server, which I like because I was getting money. So I like money,
Everyone likes money.
right? So the moment that I started getting money, I was like, "This is it." I like this. And I told my mom, I'm just gonna continue to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to college just because you want me to go to college, but it's not something that I want to do for myself. So she was happy as long as I was going to school.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized like my brother was going to school. His college was very expensive at the time. My mom was working, so I had to step up. Being the older sister, so I'm the youngest of four. The
Mm.
second youngest of four. But being the oldest sister, I need to help my mom.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna focus on working, and I'm gonna help my mom, help my brother as well.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as when I started working, I realized that I could do more. I told my mom, the moment that I get my papers to choose what I want to do, I'm not gonna be a server for the rest of my life. And yeah, the moment came where I started working in the alcohol industry, and that's what I learned so much. I learned so much about leadership. I
Mm-hmm.
had an amazing manager, and he was always leading by the front, and I was like, I want to be the person, but it's not going to happen here, so I need to do it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And the time came where I was like, this is it. This is it. I don't have anything else going on for me in this job. People work here for many years. They're stuck in the same job, same position for many years. I don't want this for me.
Mm-hmm.
The fire inside me started like burning, like get
Yeah.
out of here. So that's how I started like looking into something else. And I make good money
Mm-hmm.
at the time, that I wasn't looking for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I said. God gave me this opportunity.
Yes. And I remember you telling this one story how I think when you had first started in that, it was like a wine, what was it?
It's a winery, yeah.
That's a winery. And so you had said that this was like a staffing agency that had hired you, right? And then you would go by the office every day. Hey, so is the position open or something like that? Every single, they're like, no, Monica, it's not open. I'll tell you when, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I'm still shocked that you remember that.
Yeah.
But yes, it was I started by a temp agency,
Mm-hmm.
and well, because I already had my papers. I'm a DACA recipient,
Mm-hmm.
so going to school paid off
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the end of the day,
yeah.
right? So when I got my social, and I was like, now I can choose wherever I want to work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was like, I'm not gonna work at night. I'm not gonna work Fridays because that's what you usually work on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
On a restaurant, you work weekends. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not gonna be working any weekends, and I'm gonna be working only mornings.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I was like, now it's on under my terms. And yeah, one of my friends that he was working at a temp agency, he helped me. He's all like, I have this. They opened this position. Do you want to go ahead and take it? I was like, sure. Why not? And like I said, it was a great job, but I was only there like temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And I would knock the door like my managers, every single day. Like, is there an open position for me? Like, no. He'll be like, no, no, no. Until I was like, I'm not gonna stop being persistent. I'm gonna make it happen because I know I can.
Yeah.
And mind you, Derek, that for this position you need to have a bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I was like, there is no chance, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
already doing the job. Like, why not? So yeah, he one day he comes to my cubicle and he says, "Guess what, Monica? We just opened this position just for you." So I was
So he's
like,
like, stop knocking on the door.
"Yes, yes." So I was like, "Great,"
Yeah.
and that's how I started. I become part of the company.
So how did that feel like for you? For like, I mean, for some of us, it's like after the second time they tell you no, it's like, okay, let's stop asking them. But you're like every single day, and you acted. I think you probably acted the same way every single day, like you're asking them a brand new question, right?
Exactly.
But
Yes.
what was that like? What was your thought process?
It I don't know, just believing in myself
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that I can do what I put my mind to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know I can do it. I'm not gonna give up on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna give up on my dreams. At that time, that was like one of my goals, right? It was to become part of the company. So I was like, I'm gonna make it happen one way or another.
Yeah.
So that's how I
And it
never
was a pretty good job from what you were saying. I mean, it's like you had AC, you were working in a cubicle, you were getting paid well. It was Monday through Friday, right?
Monday through Friday. Only it was from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
It was like such a like what most people consider like a great job, and you were like, I think there's more out there. I want to search for more. So, how did you get from that point to the next point to where you're at now? Or what was the bridge between the industries, should I say?
Well, the moment that I realized when one of my coworkers, after working there for 30 years, he retired. He was about to retire,
Mm-hmm.
and all the company gave him was just a bottle of wine. It was expensive bottle of wine,
Mm-hmm.
but it was signed by all of us. And I was like, this is not gonna be me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna like pretty much sit in this cubicle for 30 years, and at the end of the day, when I'm tired, old, all they're just gonna give me wine that I'm not even gonna be able to enjoy because I don't know if I'm gonna be, I'm way too old that
Yeah.
I don't even want to enjoy wine at that time.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I need to do something
Yeah.
different. And honestly, the opportunity came so weird, Derek, that I until today I still ask myself
Mm-hmm.
how. And there's no other answer but God.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started in the industry, I was following my mentor now.
Mm-hmm.
I was following him on Instagram. Honestly, I don't even know how I started following him. I don't ever remember me like, how sometimes you look on Instagram and you're like, oh, I'm gonna follow this
Yeah.
person. I don't even remember I started following this man. But when I was following him, I noticed that he looked like a narco. If you guys know what that means.
Yeah.
um,
So money.
yes, yes. And I was like, I like money, right?
Yeah.
And he's also talking about investments, and he sounded very educated in the subject that I was like, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
If he's making money just by doing this, and I see him talking in front of people, I back in the day, Derek, I would not even say a word in front of two people. So, but I was like, I can do it. He's
Mm-hmm.
talking in front of people. I can make it happen. I can make that money too. So I reached out to him. I remember he was talking about his hashtags were about his company, TCO and PHP.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to ask this man, like, what is TCO? What is PHP? I was like, maybe I'm the only one that doesn't know.
Yeah.
So I asked him, like, it might be a stupid question, but I need to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So what's TCO? He explained it. The same day I got started in the industry, I was like, everything makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I want to change for myself. I want to better myself. I don't see better myself at a college level. I want more.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what's out there in life.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's how I started. That same day I became part of the industry. I come home and I tell my husband, like, we started a business. And he's like, what? Didn't you go to work? I was like, yes, but we started a business. He's like, whatever you said,
Yeah.
So that's how everything started.
I think that you highlighted a very interesting point in that story, is that you kind of like identified someone who is having the life that you want, and you were not afraid of the rejection that you might face in asking that person how they got there. So like I see that's a common theme with you, where it's just like, I'm gonna keep knocking until I get what I want, and I'm gonna ask questions and not be afraid of what the answers are, because I'll be just a little bit smarter.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's super cool.
Yes.
So what did you sacrifice to get to where you are?
What did I sacrifice? Family time.
Mm-hmm.
When you're starting a business, it requires a lot of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for you to make something work, you need to put in the work and the time, the
Mm-hmm.
effort, right? So many birthday parties, many family gatherings. There was a point where my mom was always telling me like, you're not taking care of your daughter. You know, you're not watching her. You're not with her as many as much as you should be. Until one time I told her like, okay, listen, like, I'm not gonna stop doing my business. If you're gonna support me, you're gonna support me with everything that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, late nights at the office. I will have to drive to LA, Fresno, Bakersfield. That's the sacrifice that it's gonna take for me to get where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said, okay, I'm with you. I support you. But I was like, this is the last time that I want you ever hear saying or complaining that I'm not with my daughter, because I'm doing everything that I'm doing it for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I don't want her to be going to the, to be living in the same situations that we're living.
Yeah.
And not that we were living bad, but I knew that I could do better for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell her like, this is what it's gonna take. Are you with me or not?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, absolutely, let's go for it.
And I'm sure that you had that same conversation with more people, and I'm sure that your friend group did not stay the same. Like, are you still friends with some of the people that you were originally friends with?
That's funny. Because I thought I had a lot of friends. I thought I was popular, you know. So when I started the business, I was like, I'm gonna have a lot of support. You know, I have a lot of friends that know me, and if they're not friends, at least it's people that I know, and I can count on them. Well, no, you know, shocking to know that no. Until today, none of my friends that I thought, you know, they were my friends are in the business with me or had supported me in that sense. So yeah, it's part of the process. It's part of growing, because not everybody is ready to grow. People want big things in life, but they're not ready to let go of what's stopping them.
It's like that saying, everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die.
Exactly the same.
It's so mind blowing that the people that you thought would support you wouldn't be there cheering for you, or sometimes even where they're clapping for you up until you become a little bit better than them. They want you to be good, but not better than them.
Exactly.
It's very interesting.
Yes.
So, what was the moment that you told yourself that I know I can do this?
The moment I recruited one person out of my family, because I've received the support from my family. But the moment I recruited one person that was outside my family, I was like, there's someone believing in me. And I'm going to give him results. I'm going to show him that I can lead them. That moment I started believing in myself as well. Like, I can be a leader, because I signed up in this business not even knowing what was I going to do, you know? So the moment that she came on board, and she was depending on me, you know, I was like, for me to help her on every single thing in the business. So I was like, let's go, it's go time.
Yeah. So it feels like, or it seems like, you will jump into something not really knowing what it's going to be, but kind of like, I guess, the coaches that you have telling you, go this way, and you're like, all right, I'll go this way because this is what my coach is telling me to do. Is that kind of like accurate?
Yes, I'm such an A person. Action, like, you know,
Action driven.
yes, like,
Okay.
tell me what to do. I know I'm gonna get it done. One way or another, I'm gonna get it done. And yes, since the beginning, I'm being very coachable to my mentors. They will tell me do this and do that, and I will do it. And why, Derek? Why I decided to follow everything that they say? Because they have the life that I want to live. My mom would tell me like, no, you're not sleeping enough, you're driving too much. And I tell her I remember telling my mom, like, I respect you and your opinion as my mother, but in my business, it's a different situation. I have my mentors for business, and I'm going to listen to them because they're going to take me where I want to go. So that's why I've been that person since I started in the business. And maybe because it's also in me, you know, like, I believe so much in myself, Derek, that I know anything that you tell me, and I put, you know, like, my head down to it and be like, yeah, I can do it. I know I'm going to make it happen.
So tell me about a time where you thought that this isn't for me then. I can't pull through on this. What did you do, or what was your thoughts?
Like I said, business is hard, right? And there's going to be times where you find yourself like doubting because you don't know if where you're going is the right thing for you, because not everything goes smooth,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not going to stop where it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
You have to continue because you don't want to stop there.
Mm-hmm.
So there was times where I thought about quitting this, so many times, and I will reach out to my mentors, and they'll be like, no, you got this, you can do it. So in those moments is when you borrow someone else's vision because you don't see it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now when because I have worked with many people that I mentor, and I see so much potential in them and they don't see it. And that's how I go back to my mentors and be like, that's how they see me. Like they know I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I always tell my team, like, you have so much potential. I know there's people that this is not for them, and
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. It's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people that have it in them, and I tell them, like, don't stop there, because once you cross that path, amazing things are coming your way.
They definitely are. And I also want to highlight something that you're talking about your mentors, this, that they have this beautiful life, and I don't want people to confuse you chasing after money with chasing after a dream and what that money can bring, because money is just, it's energy. I
Exactly.
I always say that it's energy. It's what it can do for you. You're
Exactly.
not gonna love $100 bill when you're alone on an island, but you're gonna love what that $100 bill can do. Provide you with an experience, with whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you're chasing right there, right?
Absolutely. Like, money gives you options,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when I said about uh when I talk about money, it's not just being superficial, right? Oh, it's just about the money. No, it's about what you mentioned, what money can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a big dream to build a church,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I don't have money, I'm not going to be able to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of kids that need new schools. Money will give you the option,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's about what you can do with the money, and now how people think that, oh, it's just about materialistic things.
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond materialistic things.
Definitely. So, talking about money, what industry are you in?
I'm in the best industry there is, financial services.
Financial services. So tell me a little bit more about that. Like, break it down for me.
So we help people make money,
Mm-hmm.
save money. We help people. We educate families on the money aspect. Like I mentioned before, not a lot of people. It's very they don't have enough education on this subject. And I love the crusade that we have here. I'm in love with what I do. And I know at the beginning it was thinking about how much money I can make, just to pay bills at the beginning. But once you start doing the business, it's like you fall in love with the crusade of helping people, especially or Latino community, helping them with life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen many cases where um, life insurance have saved many people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we cannot save those that are gone, but we can save those that are staying behind.
Mm-hmm.
And that has given me, I found my purpose in this industry
Okay.
because I love helping people. And that's the name of our company. The company that I represent is people helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love to do. No matter how, what's going to take me, I'm going to make sure that they're good.
Mm-hmm.
And one time I remember going to a very low income family, and I was like, I can't believe people live like this, because I thought I was bad, but there's people worse.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom, she's like, we don't have the money. We don't have money to pay for life insurance. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't have to be that much. I'm gonna find you a plan that you can that it can be affordable for you. So yeah, she said, okay, let's do it. Months later, the husband passed. She reached out and she's all like, "This is, I just want to see if my policy is still active. My husband just passed and we don't have nothing." And luckily, yes, their policy was still active, and just handing the check to them, Derek, is like, it gave me so much how can I say,
like fulfillment.
Fulfillment, exactly. Like, I love this. I love it. I want to continue doing this, and not seeing that family, that it's not gonna go through that hardship. Of course, we're not gonna replace the husband, but going through the hardship alone, it gave me a lot of fulfillment. Yes.
It sounds like you really believe in what you're providing for people.
Yes, I do believe 1000%. I have my own products. I believe in the product. My family, they all have their policies. And it gives me that sense of, if anything happens to me, nothing, my kids are not going to be going from one place to another. Because there's family that says, yeah, I can watch them, they're going to be here with me if anything happens to you. But in reality, and we all know that, I don't know what that's saying in Spanish, el muerto y el arrimado a los 3 días apesta, right? People's not going to want to take care of them for the rest of their lives. So, no, that gives me a sense of security and being like, if anything happens to me, my kids are set.
And because I did the life insurance industry for a while, and one of the things that a lot of people never really realize is their actual realities that they're facing right now. They would say that same thing. I can't afford life insurance. I can't. I don't want it. I'm good. But the reality is that you have $1,000 in your checking account. To bury a person, even to cremate, it's more than 1,000.
Yeah.
So the reality you're facing right now is that you're pretty much not leaving your family with anything. I'm a very blunt person. I'm logical.
Same.
So it's like, your reality is bad. It could be better. It's gonna take some sacrifice though. So you're kind of like sometimes shifting the perspective on your client's needs, not because you're trying to be the bad person saying like you're broke.
No.
You're helping
On
them,
the other hand,
right?
exactly, yes. Yeah, and a lot of people, they do have the money, but their expenses are on the wrong, the wrong item. So sometimes, we said, oh, I don't have money to buy life insurance, but we're buying a brand new truck, right? We're buying Gucci belts. We're buying things that in reality, we don't need. And we're just doing this just to impress other people. But we do have the money. Mexicans, they throw like big quinceañeras, but they don't want to spend money on life insurance. So it's just about priorities. And if your family matters, you're going to do anything for them.
I always think back on how I want to be able to take care of my family while I'm here, but also while I'm not here.
Absolutely.
Right? Like what was something I would say to people is like, to the guys mostly, I'm like, hey, you want to take care of your wife while she's living, but you also want to make sure she doesn't find another Sancho. So you want to make sure that you take care of her even after you're gone.
Yes.
And that makes people chuckle,
Exactly. And like, especially those macho man, like they said, oh no, I'm not going to get life insurance because I don't want to leave it to the Sancho. Like, and I always tell them, listen, like if you leave in money behind, your wife is not going to be in need to find a Sancho because she'll be like, I'm good. I don't need another man. I don't need to be making lunch for somebody else. I don't need to be cleaning after another man. So I have the money. I don't need a Sancho, right? So, and they always laugh. They're like, yeah, true. So it all depends how you put the perspective that you see it.
Yeah. And that's like kind of like what sales is. You're joking with the person, just kind of like shifting their perspective to understand why they need the product, seeing what their needs are and linking it up to what it is that you're selling, right? So can anyone be a good salesperson, or does it take someone special, or are they born that way?
Everybody's a salesperson. Even when you don't believe that you can sell, you're already selling yourself the thought that I can sell. So you're a great salesperson. When someone tells me like, I'm not good for this, like, oh, you are great. You actually, just believe that you can do it without even trying. So selling, it's like recruiting. When people says I don't recruit, everybody recruits. Like, we even those that are married, you recruit your husband, you recruit your wife. You had to tell her good things about yourself in order for them to believe
Yeah.
it. Same thing in sales. Like, everybody's a good seller.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends like how much you believe it, and of course it has to be a product that you believe in.
Mm-hmm. So sales is essentially a skill that you build over time. You start kind of identifying more than anything, it's identifying the needs of the person and how you fit that person's needs. Though
Mm.
those are the ones that it's just like it's almost a no-brainer for them. And it almost like when you're speaking about it and speaking about their needs, they almost sell themselves where they're like, "Oh, you know what? I need that because of this. Because
Mm.
I have this need and you just highlighted that." It's so interesting. It's like a little bit of psychology here and there.
Yes, yes.
But you didn't start off as a salesperson.
No. Like I said, I didn't even know I was going to be selling something here. I just signed up because I saw a big future here. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying, that anybody can be a salesperson. And yeah, you go by the needs of the person. In order to, I think the most, instead of learning how to be a good salesperson, you have to be a good listener.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to listen what the people is asking, what they needing, and that's how you're gonna be able to sell a product.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sell potions and creams, which is nothing bad. I don't have nothing against that. But the product that we have in life insurance, I always said I don't sell, I educate families,
Mm-hmm.
because it's important for them to know, especially like they don't know there's options for them. We help people that don't have social security, as long as they have their ITIN number. So that gives me a lot of sense of, oh, I can help a lot of people out there that in reality they need it.
Mm-hmm. You're such a good talker. You know how to kind of like bring a person along and highlight who you are and sell yourself, But you weren't always that way. Tell me about your first appointment. How that was.
No, I don't even want to talk about my first appointment. Um, my first appointment, I had to throw myself out there.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, my mentors, they 4 hours away from here. At that time, there was no Zoom. There was nothing for them to be able to help me. So they just guide me through it, gave me the information. I did the trainings, the licensing. So it was like go time.
Mm-hmm.
And the first day, I remember my husband coming with me, and I was like mumbling. I was like, I don't even know what I'm saying, and the person is looking at me weird. And the thing is that we ended of course, I didn't do it. I didn't close that appointment, right? I wasn't able to help the client. And my husband, he looks at me and he said, like, you were nervous, right? I was like, no, I wasn't. So yeah, that was my first, and only in this industry, not in this industry, but in this company, like you said, I wasn't like that at the beginning, but the self-development that I have in this company, it has given me that sense of empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can do anything. I can take over the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I've been self-development for, I'm going to 6 years now in this company. So I feel like I can have like better, conversations. We don't only do life insurance. It's more than that.
Mm-hmm. I had such a strong feeling about being in that company because it was a love-hate relationship, because I loved what I did, right? But I hated the amount of uncomfortability that was being pushed on by our coaches, by
Yeah.
you, on pushing like, Derek, you can do this. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did what we call the pregame, which is like essentially we do a trainings every Tuesday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And the pregame is essentially getting everyone hyped up for the training. They like to have fun. So I did my first pregame. Monica had been asking me for a couple months to do the pregame, and I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not
Yep.
ready. And then she was like, no, Derek, you're ready. You're ready. You can do this. Come on. And I'm like, oh. Well, finally, 1 week, I was like, okay, I'll do it. But I need at least a week of preparation. And during that whole week, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? I don't know nothing. And then I remember doing the pregame, and during it, it just felt like almost like a movie while I was doing it. And I just remember at the end of it, everyone around me just looked so surprised because I was the very quiet. All I did was listen.
Yeah.
I'm just observing. I'm like, what's going on here? How
Yeah.
can I fit in? How can I be better? And I just remember I did well.
Yes.
I did well. And
Yes.
I'm like, wow. And so like that uncomfortability grew me to the person that I am now. This type of stuff that I'm doing right now, the video stuff, I would have never done that. I think if I never had done that original pregame.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
just talking in front of people. That's such a powerful skill. Public speaking is most people's number one fear.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
So
Yes.
for you to overcome that,
Yeah.
you start to feel stronger because of
Yes.
it. You're just like, okay, I can do this. Like, I can do another one. I can do another one.
Yeah.
And then, as time went on, I think some of the other things was like, okay, yeah, you did that, but can you do it again?
Exactly. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Give me another month.
Yeah. So it's called a business opportunity meeting,
Yeah.
right? And so a BOM starts at 7. Monica texts me 6:30. Hey, Derek, can you do pregame? No, I can't do it. Yes, you can. You can do it. You can do it. I guess I'll do it. Coming in so unprepared, and it happens over and over and over again. But it prepares you for the unknown that you face
Yeah.
out in the field in life. Really, it prepares you so well. Like you just can come on the spot with a whole pregame message. This is like 15-minute like speeches essentially just to hype everyone up.
Yep. Yeah.
It's crazy. I remember Sandra did it a couple times because the pregame person either wasn't there for whatever reason. It's like you gotta
Do it. Yeah.
Spontaneity.
Pivot and adjust. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yes. So, that's why I said that this business have prepared me for so many situations in life because like you mentioned, we have to be ready for the unknown.
Yeah.
What's coming. If we don't know, right? We don't know what's coming. We don't know if we're going to have one day we're going to have to be talking to one client, another day we have to do a big presentation for 20 people. So, and it's funny because I dropped out of college because I had to do my speech class. And I was like, and in order to pass that class, I needed to do a presentation in front of the class. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way that these people's going to make me speak in front of the class. So, and now I'm over here like training, hundreds of people like on every time we have our BOMs, like I have to train and especially in English. That was my biggest fear. Because like I mentioned, when I got to this country, I didn't speak the language. And I remember my first appointments were, I will always tell my sister, like, you do them in English. And she'll be like, you got this. I was like, no, I can't do them in English. And so I had to throw myself out there. I was like, I have to do it. I have to do it. And I lost the fear. Some people tell me like, how do you do it? How is it so easier for you? It's like, it's not easy. You just have to throw yourself out there.
Yeah.
Give yourself the chance to mess it up. Because if you don't, if you're always with that fear, you're never going to know if you're good or bad for it.
Yeah. So you lead people now, but you started off as someone who didn't even know a thing about the industry. So at what moment did you realize that you were actually a leader, not just in title, but like actually in the way that you live?
That's a great question. Until now, I don't consider myself a good leader.
Okay.
And, I hear it from other people, and I'm still like, are they really talking about me? Because you continue to have that doubt. Like, I still feel like, of course, I need to grow more. I need to like self-develop more. But when I hear it from other people, it gives me that sense that I'm doing something good. Like, oh, I'm leading people. Like, they're following me. The moment that I see people following me, and I always tell my team, I'm never going to ask you to do something that I'm not doing. I'm going to do it first before I ask you for you to do it. And that's how I started like building that belief and trust in my team. Like, I'm not just asking them to, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's like I lead.
Yeah.
And I always feel that sense of responsibility in this business. Like, I have to show them how to get it done before me telling them to do it.
Yeah. If 8-year-old Monica were to be in front of you right now, what do you think that she would say about the woman that you become?
Wow. My 8-year-old will be super proud. I didn't have the best childhood. I come from, I don't even know if I come from people like from family with money or
Mm-hmm.
from, you know, how people say like, oh, I come from humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
My family had money, but it was for the whole, you know, wrong reasons.
Oh, okay. Yes.
If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I come from having it all to having nothing. And when I was 8 years old, I didn't really enjoy my childhood, like playing with kids and this and that. I had to grow up, you know, take care of my sister. Not so much in the sense that me providing for her, but make sure that I was there for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to like, maybe that's why I am the way I am, because I had to like be that big person. And I know that 8-year-old Monica had a lot of dreams, but I had a lot of fear, and that fear, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gone, and I feel like now I can conquer anything that I put my mind and self to it, and that 8-year-old girl will be super proud of me.
Mm. I'm so sure that she would be too. I think that you've grown and matured even over the past couple of years. I remember when you had first opened up the office in Modesto. It was a smaller office, and the person from who you were when I first met you to who you are now is vastly different. And that's over the course of what, maybe 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
5 years that I've known you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you said you've been in the industry for 6 years.
Yeah.
It only took 1 year for you to open up an office,
Yes.
like, and I know that it's hard.
Yeah.
I've led a small team before. You fail at every instance, and you're like, dude, what am I doing? What?
Mm-hmm.
It's either you give them too much slack, and then they're starting to create these bad habits, or you're too stern and you scare them away.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and you're trying to find that balance back and forth. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that over time you start to kind of find that equilibrium where you're just like, okay, a little bit for this
Mm-hmm.
person's this way, so let me treat them this way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you little by little have found that groove, so to say. And I think that the 8-year-old you would be like, wow, like, well, Monica, me in the future is pretty badass,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I yeah, I like to think about that type of stuff. So we talked about you opening up an office, and you get to name your team.
Mm-hmm.
And so you named your team EBF.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a bit about that. What does that represent? What is it?
So when you mentioned like me opening an office within, you know, such a short period of time of being in the industry, we were running appointments out of Starbucks, restaurants, and I was like, I need to have my own office. You know, like people kept asking me like, okay, so where's your office? I'll be like, oh, it's coming. We're opening. You know, it's coming soon. But in reality, it wasn't coming soon. Like, but I told my sister like and my husband like we need to open our office. We need to, and that was something that I had in my mind that it was like a project that it needed to be get it done right, and it happened. We opened a small one. We were sharing our office with someone else, but in this industry, we're very loud. We were
Mm.
super loud, and they were like, "Oh, you can be, you know."
Yeah.
I was like, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work."
Yeah.
So I told my sister, "No, we're gonna move to another office." I started looking for another one, and before I answer your question, it's you know how they said big opportunities happen during the hard times. So that's exactly what happened to us. We opened our office during COVID,
Mm.
where when everybody was shutting down, you know, their businesses. We opened our first office here in
Wow.
Modesto.
Mm.
And I'm very proud of the office. I fall in love with the office. I was like, you know, we had a small team, but we had the best team. I feel like that was the best
Mm.
team ever.
Mm.
The team that first believed in me, and yeah, I had to like pivot and adjust to different things that happen in the
Mm.
office, and of course with the agents, because like you mentioned, everybody has different personalities.
Mm.
Learning how to deal with each and every one of you, right? There were, as you know, there were agents getting mad because I was tough on them. And In other words, were like just taking me as a friend, which I didn't want that to happen. So it it was hard at the beginning. Everything was built on faith, and that's why I named my team Empowered by Faith, because I didn't even know. I just had that dream and had like that goal in this business that if everybody's open an office, I can make it happen too. How? I don't know, but I was like, with God, always God, and putting God in front of my business, it's is gonna open the doors that needs to be open. So empower. It's a business that we need to be empowered. I like to empower women. I like to empower people. So we're empowered by faith.
I love that name. I love it, and I remember that office fondly. It wasn't the biggest office in the world. It wasn't super small, but I remember we fit so many people in there.
Yes, yes.
And it's just like that faith that you have, that what I think that's something that we would say during every meeting, like we're gonna have a big team, we're gonna bring so many people on, and everyone's just kind of proclaiming their dreams, and we would be so loud too.
Yes,
That's one thing.
Yes.
And they'll scare some people off, but I mean it's what would we say the reason that we cheer is, like, other people, they cheer for their teams and are super loud for them. But when was the last time you've ever cheered for yourself and what you believe in? And when we would be cheering, it's like we're not saying it because we just want to be loud. We're proclaiming it, and I feel like there's something to that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's big affirmations, right?
There are affirmations. So speaking of affirmations, how important do you feel is it for you to have a vision or a vision board or any? I think the new thing is mental movies, they call it now. So like, do you do that? Is that important?
It's very important, yes. And I don't do mental movies. I'm still like old school, right? So I do the what's it called?
Vision boards.
The vision boards,
Yeah.
yes, where you go and get your your whiteboard and cut magazines. But there's no more magazines nowadays. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to find magazines. Like people don't even read magazines anymore.
Yeah.
But yes, it is important. It's important to have a vision and expand your vision and be clear on your vision. Sometimes we say, oh, I want a car, I want a Mercedes. What kind? What color?
By what day?
By what day? Exactly. Have that vision set because it's going to give you a sense of urgency. We don't have that much time. And I always said, and I always pray to God to give my mom that time for her to see me win in this business. I want her to see me reaching out my goals that I have for my family. And I always pray to God, just give my mom, that time for her to see it. But in reality, we don't have that much time. Sometimes we sit here and think that, oh, I'll do it next Tuesday. Or I'll do it next month. Do it today. Start today because time is running.
And tomorrow doesn't exist.
Exactly.
What exists is the here and now.
Exactly.
I remember someone saying, I believe it was Sandra. She's another broker in the industry, and Sandra says that my dreams are so big that they scare me. And it's like, what? Like, first of all, what are you dreaming of?
Right? Why is it scaring you?
But
Yeah.
I think what she meant by that is like that they're so big and they look like they're so out of reach that never in a million years can you attain them. But you're motivated to get to that point, and even if you fall short of it, you went pretty far.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you want to share some of the things that you put on your vision board?
Like I said, building a church. I have my community. It's a small community. It's a small church, and we're borrowing someone else's church.
Oh, okay.
And they're always changing the times on us. Oh, this time we're gonna we're gonna open another church time, mass time. So you guys are gonna have to change yours.
Oh.
So to me, it's like I can't wait until we have our own church. So that's one of them. I wanna travel the world with my kids, my daughter, give her the life that I don't want her to settle for anything. I want her to show her the world. I want to show her the world, and for her to see that, there's a lot out there. And of course, now I have a son. Only God knew how much I needed that little boy in my life. I thought I was done having kids, but no. And I just want to give my life, my family, the life that they deserve, and
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I put on my vision board over and over. And of course, my faith in God. No matter how big I grow in this business, all the glory goes to God.
I love that. That's so beautiful because at the end of the day, all this fades away. So
Yes.
the only thing that's left is eternity. The infinite, whatever you want to call it, but God.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so if God's real and God is everything, what am I doing in order to get closer to Him?
Mm-hmm.
Do I draw near to Him when I'm in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me maybe of a time where you're like, it's like you're saying a prayer where you don't even know if He's listening,
Mm-hmm.
or you just need help?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you tell me about a time like that?
Yes. There's many times where I broke down and cried to him sometimes, not complaining to him, but asking him why. Like, why me, right?
Oh,
Like, why one after the other? Like,
yeah.
and every single time I get up like stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I get up stronger, and that's his answer to my prayers. Like, I'm doing this because you needed it.
No,
I
okay.
close these doors for you because that was not the place for you.
Mm-hmm.
And many times we, especially if we're not close to God, we don't understand. We complain, but we don't really realize that God knows, and He already has a plan, and a better plan than the one we set for ourselves. So it's just of trusting Him. My team, I have had a big team, small team, no team, um, and there's times where I'm like, I know I can, I know I can have, I'm capable of leading a big team, right? How come like people is not following me? How come this? How come that? But in reality, it's not God. It's like, just get to work.
Mm-hmm.
Just get to work. It's coming. It's coming. And I tell my family sometimes, they're like, okay, so are you a really millionaire? And I'm not a millionaire yet. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm a millionaire in a whole different, and other things. I'm a millionaire in my faith. I'm a millionaire in having my family. I'm a millionaire in having the people that I have around me. Um, that's how I become millionaire. And the rest, the money, it's coming.
It's an identity.
Yes.
I think this is highlighted in Napoleon Hill's book, or maybe it was Brian Tracy. I forget who, but you will never earn more or less than 10% of what your identified income is. So if you've earned 50,000 your whole life, you identify as a $50,000
Mm-hmm.
person. So the next time you get fired, you move to a job, you're not going to a $30,000 a year job or 100,000. You're going to, well, hopefully you get to the 100,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you will stay within that income.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's like, okay, so I want to be a millionaire. So what does that really mean? I'm becoming the person that can provide the type of value that a millionaire has,
Exactly.
right?
Start acting like one. What does a millionaire do?
Mm-hmm.
What is a million? How they act?
Mm-hmm.
What type of how much work they put into their business? So all that stuff. Stop acting
Mm-hmm.
like the person that you want to be.
Mm-hmm. And I think the best guide point is to not only follow mentors, but reading books. Reading books is so powerful for you to gain experience from.
Mhm.
You don't have to have a physical person there for you. You learn at your own pace.
Mhm.
So with that being said, what's your favorite book on self-development?
I wait in the devil.
I wouldn't delve, but Napoleon Hill.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I also like I forgot the name of this author, and I it's stronger. I know you know which one I'm talking about. Have it on at the top of the thing, but Outwitting the Devil. It's an amazing book. Every time I feel like I'm going through, those hard times, I read the book, and it's like, let's go. It's go time. It's an amazing book. And of course, reading. My grandma, she will always read and be like, every time she will finish reading the book for that day and close the book, she'll be like, I just traveled the world. And honestly, like, imagine how much you can learn from just reading a book. It's months of research that one person has done, and it's providing it to you in one day, right? So reading, it's very important. Self-development is very important, because like you said, uh, income is just it's just identity. Where do you identify yourself? And if you're not growing, if you're not reading, like we say in the company, you're dying.
You're not growing, you're dying. And that I like that you say it's your favorite book, because I'm sure you've read it a couple times already. And it's similar to what the saying is, no man will ever step into the same river twice, because the river that he's stepping into isn't the same as when he first stepped in.
Exactly.
And that man is not the same as when he first stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
So never will happen again. So when you're reading a book for the first time, you're reading it as this set person. But when you read it 5 years from now, you've learned, you've grown, you've lost, you've cried. You're a whole different person now. So now you get a whole different set of values from it. That you like. There's sometimes I read a book where I'm like, why didn't I catch this the first time?
Exactly.
It's like mind blowing.
Yeah, and then especially like you're reading from where you at mindset, right? The book that I was telling you about, just remember, it's No One Can Hurt Me by Guggins. He's one of my favorite authors. Like he's very blunt, and he says it how it is. But I just love his stories, where he comes from and how he became the person that he is. And I think that, yeah, you're reading, every time you read a book, you just picked it up from where you mentally are. And that's amazing, because you're growing with the book.
So the book she's referring to is You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And that book, okay, like you gotta know that when you read that book, be prepared to start running every single day.
Yes.
And that every excuse that you've ever had is not enough for you not to do the things that you have to do. It's very big on discipline.
Yes.
And it's like takes it to an extreme.
And it makes you feel like, what am I doing? Like, actually, what am I doing here? I should be running, right? Like,
yeah. It's literally no excuses.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That resonated very deeply with me during my time where I felt like I wasn't enough. I was lost. I felt like I had no guidance. I read that book. Oh, I think that book is probably the catalyst to one of the catalysts to where I am today, in a sense of discipline, because
yes,
but you have to learn how to balance it out, because you can also be very hard on yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I recommend that.
Yeah,
book.
it's from where, I mean, the way he grew up, and that's why he put the discipline. But a lot of people think that it's just how lucky you are, but it's not about luck. It's about discipline.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hardest things to do and to be disciplined in anything that you do. Could be going to the gym, could be like keeping up a diet, it could be business. Discipline is the key to everything.
Yeah. It definitely is. To many people, it's something that they want to avoid. They want to feel comfortable. They want to come home every night, watch Netflix, eat a pizza. But in the long term, what's that really going to do when you're living paycheck to paycheck?
Exactly.
Your health is declining. There's people that depend on you. What is that really doing for you? It's not doing anything.
And the worst is that your kids are watching you, and we said, I love my kids, I love my family, but we're not teaching them anything better. And it's a cycle that it's never going to end, because that's what they're, what monkey do, what monkey
see, monkey do.
Exactly, what monkey see, what monkey do. So they're going to grow up thinking that that's the way to live. And in reality, it's our responsibility to change those bad habits for our family.
Yes. Yes, because like you said, monkey see, monkey do. You set that example, the standard for how your kids will. I hear some people say like when I have kids or my kids watch me read a book, they're reading it too. And sometimes, well, kids are monkey see, monkey do for sure, because they'll grab a book. Sometimes they don't
Yeah.
even know how to read. It's
Yeah.
upside down and everything,
Yeah.
but they see it. You know,
Exactly.
you want to set that
Exactly.
example for the kids
Yeah.
because it's all about the legacy that you leave behind as well,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So speaking of legacy, how important is it to envision the life that you want in terms of, I guess, 5-10 years from now, instead of like the short term 1 to 2 years?
Mm. It's important because, like I mentioned, my my status here. It's not. I'm a DACA recipient. And it's important for me to fulfill that those goals that I have in life, and um, I don't want my family to one day see me and be like, what happened to the person that what you set these goals, but what happened? Like you stop.
Yeah.
Like why? And yeah, like seeing my son grow compared to my daughter. So when my daughter was little, I was not in the industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that my son is born, he goes to every event. So seeing the difference between my daughter to him, it's like 180 degrees, right? My son, it's like he reads, he's focused, he's very like outgoing. And it could be about personality, but just I want to see that in my family. I want to see that change, um not only in like you say, talking about money, no, but I want to see that change in my legacy.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm changing, I'm breaking change, and I'm changing, my family's, um how can I say it, the way that they see life.
Mm.
Yes,
Yes.
so that's why it's important for me to become and do what I need to do.
It's so funny because Mateo's like 3.
He's about to be 3.
Oh, about to be
Yeah.
3. So before Mateo could walk, there's this thing that we would do where we're being really loud. We call it the ha. We're ha, and then
Yeah.
we say our team name and our proclamation, whatever it is. Before he could even walk, he was ah.
Yep.
Is so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So I know that was a very big influence to how he is now,
Exactly.
and I'm
Exactly.
so excited to see what he's going to become with that type of influence.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
oh, he's going to be a giant, I believe. I'll
Yes.
proclaim it.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. And that's how I see you.
Mhm.
That's how I remember I tell you, like,
Mhm.
Derek, you're so great. You're amazing. You're gonna be doing great things, and I still see it.
Mhm.
You're the level of maturity that you have, and the growth that I've seen in you. It's like big things are coming for you. I see
Thank
it.
you. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Sometimes when I hear that, it pushes me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you constantly hear that, you're like, okay, I'm hearing this a lot. Now I feel this pressure that I
Exactly.
have to
Yes.
become this person. And I think because of that, I push myself even harder.
Mm-hmm.
That I do have to make something of myself. How can all these people say these things
Mm-hmm.
and me not fulfill that?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like I always say is the greatest sin against humanity is to not become the best version of yourself, because there's that person waiting on you
Mm-hmm.
to become that person, to create that organization,
Mm-hmm.
to make that product, to change their lives so that that person can then in turn make the world a better place as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think you embody that very well, because I mean, without that office, I don't think I would have been doing any of this.
Wow.
It's your team, your mentorship, the experiences that I've had in that industry has pushed me to where I am today. It's it's so cool, and I'm hoping that with even this podcast that I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
right now, that I can reach just one person, just one person for them to then in turn do the same thing. It's just a
Exactly.
chain reaction,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Well, that's how I view life,
Yeah, and absolutely. I have a lot of like people that has been in my team that are no longer in my team, but just seeing them where they at now, and it gives me that comfort of like at least they're doing something
Yeah.
good. And when they say I learned this at the office, I learned this from you, I feel good. It
Mm-hmm.
makes me feel great that they learned something from me, and that they're doing better because of whatever we had going on at the
Mm-hmm.
office. So yes, even if they're not, and it's funny because a lot of people, some people that had left the company, they just don't want nothing to do with
Yeah.
but most of my team that they're doing something else, that they're not part of the team, they we still keep in touch, and that makes me feel good. Like at least I did something good,
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, I'm happy for that.
It's good. So what's next for you, Monica?
um I have a lot of goals still within the company. I do. I honestly just want to have break my other goals that I have. I want to get my ring, which it's important in the company. Um, I want to keep helping families. I want to keep pouring into people. Because that's what I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
I like to help people, and like I said, I found my purpose here. For now, that's where I probably in the next. I'm gonna be in this company for the next 10 years. That's it. After 10 years, I don't know what's gonna happen, but my goal for now, it's 10 years in the company. I'm gonna give it my all, and build. I want to build a big team. That has always been my dream. To build a big team,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's coming. That's what I have for now. I just put myself to work.
I know you're gonna have a big team, an amazing team. I think that little by little, God has been giving you the challenges in order for you to be able to handle your blessing. Like
Mm,
I've said before many times, I mean, you don't give a Ferrari to a 5-year-old kid,
exactly.
even though he badly wants it and you can afford it maybe. You can't give
Mhm.
it to him because he can't handle that type of horsepower.
Mhm.
He can't.
Mhm.
So what do? Little by little, show him how to drive a Corolla,
Yeah.
let him take his driving tests, know the rules of the road, and
Exactly.
little by little he can actually start driving that Ferrari. So I know you're going to get there. There's
Yes.
no doubt in my mind about that. So for anyone who's listening right now, how can they reach out to you? Where can they find you? If they want to join this industry, send you a message, how can they do that?
Yes, absolutely. So my Instagram is actually Monica with the K underscore EBF. Um, they can also reach out to me by email. I don't know if I can just give my email, my phone number.
This is the internet, so I don't know. It's up to you. I can't.
um,
I remove myself from any.
yeah, you guys can just follow me on Instagram. Send me a message with any questions that you have. It could be either to join the team or to get more information about the products that we offer.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah, that's how they can reach me.
Alrighty, and I'll put that up on the screen for you guys to be able to see. Um, but if it's for the very last thing, if someone's feeling stuck right now, what would you say to them?
There's people out there actually waiting for you to give you an opportunity. Sometimes people come up to you and they reach out and be like, hey, I have this opportunity for you, and you're like, I'm good, when we know we're not good, right? We deeply know that we're not. So just stop. Believe more in yourself, believe more that you can do it, and let people help you, because alone it's not going to happen. Sometimes when we read a book, and or we read it alone, we're just going based on perspective. But when you're surrounded by other people and you're reading the book with other people, you're hearing different
Mm,
concepts, different they're pouring different knowledge into you, right? And same thing when we're alone. We tend to we tend to think negative. But when you surround yourself with positive people, what we have here in the company, everything changes. everything changes. It's so, don't stay alone.
Yeah.
Don't stay alone. You be with people that it's willing to pour into you.
No man is an island.
Exactly.
You can't build an empire by yourself.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I love that. And you guys are very heavy on what you can't do. Leverage someone else that can do it.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yes. And if for now you don't believe in yourself, borrow someone's vision.
Love that. And with that, I think we're going to close this out. So thank you to everyone that is watching, has made it this far. Subscribe to the channel to hear more stories like this, like Monica. We're probably going to bring her on again to when she earns her ring and she has a big team. Because I want you guys to be able to see that success is possible. You don't have to stay where you're at right now. You can always change it. You only have what you have because you're doing what you're doing, but you can become a person that has the life that you want. So thank you, Monica, for being on, and this has been The Forge.